Hello my friends, I saw this news and I was so impressed that I had to make a video, immediately, as soon as I found out that the Tesla Model 3 is the top selling car in the UK. That's bar none. It's not in the EV category, it's not in the plug-in category, it's just the top selling car in the month of June in 2021. And this is a harbinger of what is to come. Now, as many of you know, the UK and Europe will essentially ban the sales of any cars that are not full EVs by 2030. And of course, many countries are following suit. Canada is banning them in 2035. France, 2040. California, 2035. Norway, 2025. And while obviously the entire European Union will pretty much ban them, like I said, by 2030. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. Great to have you. Good to see you here. And if you're new, make sure you remember to subscribe so you can get notifications in your feed of our future videos. Now, not trying to sound like I'm an arrogant prick, which some people would say I am, but honestly, I have pretty well predicted a lot of things that have happened over the last few months. And I think that the reason for that is I'm not particularly affiliated to one brand or another, but I'm pro logic, I'm pro the EV revolution. And honestly, I'm pro EVs simply for matters of logic more than anything else. They just make total sense. In addition to that, people just don't understand the disruption that's happening right now. It's not happening fast enough for them. So for most of the population, they haven't been smacked in the face yet with the logic of exactly what is happening right now. And we can see the sales of Tesla vehicles in the UK. It's a really good example of what I'm talking about. Now, why is it a good example? Well, the reason is twofold. One is, while it's impressive that an electric car led the entire market in the UK for this month, the month of June. But the even more impressive part about it is that Tesla vehicles in the UK are obscenely expensive. They are insanely expensive. I mean, they are literally about 40% more expensive than what the cars cost in the United States. Now, obviously, Tesla doesn't manufacture any cars in Europe yet. It manufactures them only in China and in the United States. That will very soon change, making the cars much cheaper. Now, the cars will be much cheaper because they won't have to be shipped from the United States or China. They'll also be much cheaper because think about the distance between Germany and the UK, right next door. In addition to that, Tesla is going to continue to cut prices. Now, why are they going to cut prices? Well, something people are not really talking about right now is the fact that Tesla is working on the 4680 battery cell, and I believe they're going to introduce lithium iron phosphate into the 4680 battery cells to further reduce costs. But one of the advantages of having lithium iron phosphate battery cells is the fact that they can take more charges before seeing degradation. Now, apparently the newest versions of the lithium iron phosphate battery cells coming out of CATL and BYD will enable vehicles to do 10,000 charges, which would equate to well over 1 million kilometers. The other big advantage to lithium iron phosphate is cost. Now, as more and more battery plants around the world start to transition away from lithium iron MCM, nickel, cobalt, manganese batteries, we're going to see the cost of lithium iron phosphate cells continue to reduce as they ramp up the actual supply of those cells. Now, they're just cheaper. There's nothing you can do about that. Basically, the cell ingredients cost less to manufacture. In fact, significantly less. In many cases, up to 50% less. Now, that's an enormous difference. And you can imagine that Tesla, by using battery automation technology to build their battery packs, by obviously continuing to innovate in the areas of manufacturing, reducing costs in that area, and then of course building the cars right next door, I believe Tesla vehicles in the UK by this time next year will be at least 30% cheaper. In addition to that, obviously UK buyers are not fans of sedans, and they're still made somehow. The Tesla Model 3, the number one selling vehicle in the country, even though they don't like sedans there. They like hatchbacks or SUVs. Those are the two cars of choice in the UK, and yet somehow this incredibly expensive in comparison to its price in China and in America, EV sedan is the number one selling vehicle. So just imagine what's going to happen when Tesla is selling the Model Y in the UK and the Model 2 probably in a couple of years from now at a cost that's 30% lower in comparison to what they're selling their vehicles there right now. You can imagine Tesla vehicles will sell like crazy in the UK, just as they will in Europe. So will other brands. So will, in my opinion, will the ID.3, the ID.4, and other cars from the Volkswagen stable, potentially other vehicles. However, the only issue is going to be, of course, for all these companies, including Tesla, is providing the market with enough product. Now, that's Tesla's biggest problem right now in the UK. And one of the reasons why they charge these astronomical prices is because they simply don't have enough product to meet demand. So they increase the price because they simply can. In fact, Tesla's been increasing the prices of their vehicles all over the world recently because they simply have more demand than they can meet. They increase the price, then they can reduce the demand, because obviously it's not good for business to have 6 months, 1 year long waiting lists. It's good for business to have maybe a 1 month waiting list, but beyond that, customers don't enjoy the experience of having to wait for an eternity. Plus, they can make more money, make more profit. Now, if you're one of those EV haters and you're saying, yes, but they're just powering their EVs with fossil fuels and coal, and well, not true. The UK has actually made incredible progress in reducing the use of coal across the power sector, with coal accounting for only 1.8%, that's right, 1.8% of the UK's electricity mix in 2020, compared with 40% almost a decade ago. In fact, in 2020, the UK went 5,000 straight hours without coal-fired electricity. 5,000 straight hours. And in fact, they're banning the use of coal full stop by 2024. But the truth is that they don't need to do that because it will be phased out naturally by 2024, simply because it's not cost competitive. So by the end of this year, it's likely that around about 50% of all power generated through 2021 will be from renewable energy sources. That figure is only going to climb. As you can see, while the cost of solar, wind, and battery storage continues to decline and is currently the cheapest form of energy in the world. So what were the actual sales figures for June 2021 in the UK? In first place was the Tesla Model 3 with 5,500 sales. Second place was the Volkswagen Golf with 4,600 sales. Third place was the Ford Puma with 4,500 sales. Fourth place was the Vauxhall Corsa with 4,400 sales. Fifth place, Ford Fiesta with 3,800 sales. Sixth place was the Volkswagen Polo with 3,750 sales. Seventh was the Toyota Yaris with 3,500 sales. Eighth was Mini, 3,500 sales. Ninth, BMW 3 Series, 3,000. And 10th, the Kia Sportage, 2,947. You can see there's not a single sedan in that list. Not a single sedan. In fact, not a single EV either. Many of those sales, however, were plug-in EVs, so obviously that changes the story. But you can see Tesla in first place, sedan and an EV at a very expensive price that will significantly decline by the same time next year, and where Tesla will also have the Model Y available. Now, Tesla right now are riding a wave of consumer interest in EVs in the UK. Sales of battery-powered cars and plug-in hybrids both rose more than 100% last month. Combined battery electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles accounted for 17.2% of new vehicles hitting the roads. Consumers are turning to electric vehicles as a ban on petrol and diesel car sales looms. By 2030, a net zero drive by the UK government includes plans to phase out the sale of cars running on fossil fuels by 2030. I don't think this is necessary. I mean, look at Norway next door. 60% of their entire sales figures for the month of June were EVs. It's just going to happen naturally by the time 2030 comes along. But I do like that the UK is pushing the public towards recognizing that EVs are the future. Rebuilding for the next decade is now well underway, with investment in local battery production beginning and a raft of new electrified models in showrooms, said Mike Hawes, SMMT Chief Executive. With the end of domestic restrictions later this month looking more likely, business and consumer optimism should improve further, fueling increased spending, especially in that mid to luxury class segment. Now, a lot of people who hate EVs or are against renewable energy say they feel that way because of job losses. Now, obviously, this is just their emotions coming out. They have no logical basis to make this comment. I mean, most countries in the West are net importers of fuel. Obviously, if the car is powered by electricity, where does the power now come from? Where do they generate that power? In their own country. So, are they going to lose jobs or create jobs? You tell me. Now, the latest SMMT research shows electrification of the auto industry could create 40,000 new jobs in Britain by 2030. Last week, Nissan revealed plans for a $1 billion $1.4 billion Gigafactory in Sunderland as part of an electric vehicle expansion. Now, guys, while Tesla took the top spot in June, it doesn't register in the top 10 vehicles for best-selling cars of Britain. The reason for that is solely what I said before. There just isn't enough supply of these cars in the UK. Go onto the Tesla website, place an actual order, and you'll see that your delivery is months in advance because Tesla just doesn't have the cars there. As soon as they arrive off a ship, they go straight to owners waiting for them. Now, looking at the energy mix in the UK, very likely 100% of all energy creation in the UK will be renewable by 2030. Therefore, the entire cycle will be basically emissions free, other than the manufacturing of the car. But remember, there is a number of huge renewable energy companies popping up that recycle batteries. So eventually, when we have enough batteries in the supply chain, we'll simply be able to recycle them continually and never mine for those products ever again. Now, the great news is that EVs will be on par with ICE and diesel vehicles by 2023, potentially even sooner. Obviously, look at the UK market. Something like the BYD EA1 Dolphin or MG's new Electrek hatch would be perfect for the UK market. It's the right type of car. It's the right type of price. The average person can afford one of those cars. And the average person probably has to really stretch to afford a Tesla right now, especially. Bringing in those new cheaper EVs, maybe a Tesla Model 2 as well, is going to rapidly change the UK market. I think within 24 months, it will be all over in the UK. Petrol and diesel will be dead. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.